You know, I know my son is playing Quidditch, whatever you want to call it. Yeah? I see him playing chess. Yeah, I know he's reading with Mrs. O, and I'm mesmerized by it, and it's great. And I'm very excited. I'm invested here. I still have a third grader. I think when I'm done having 5 children, and I know my son mentioned it because I told him how much I think I spent on his education just in grade school, I think I'll be the one that pays the most tuition. And I might get a third plaque. Thank you, Charlie, for the first plaque. Charlie and Lisa have engaged tremendously this year. And without them and generous gifts provided by Charlie, and I'd like to thank him for that personally, and I've spoken with Lisa personally, have really re-engaged into the school and supported us. So I just wanted to let that be known. You know, we also do have financial aid. You know, if you can't afford the school, I know in the past, it's on the website, you can fill out a financial aid application. You know, seeing the tuition increase, I don't want sticker shock. I want you to be able to come to Mrs. Kang and say if you have a problem, you know, coming here next year to discuss it with her. You know, I do not want children to leave. That's not why we raised the tuition. We raised the tuition because we're top line driven. We can only spend what we bring in. And we can't cut programs. We don't want to cut faculty. The faculty are underpaid, as Jim had said before. We know the history. Great school, demographics have become weak in our area. Schools closed to the south. Let's, you know, do what we can to keep this one open. And I hope that the tuition has not been too much of a shock. And like I said, I'll be here after to answer anyone's question after. But you know, growing the school then requires marketing and development. And with that, I will turn it over to Eileen.
So, we do have our tuition, but much of what the expenses that the school experiences, tuition does not necessarily, I don't have Jamie's voice. What we pay in tuition doesn't necessarily cover the actual expense of having a child in this school. I think we all know that. And historically, we rely on the fundraisers and the donors to offset those gaps. As you've seen, like with the declining enrollment, what happens too is that you have declining participation in, say, a gala or a golf tournament. So the money that's coming in from the existing fundraisers is less. So earlier in the year, a marketing committee was formed, aimed primarily at increasing enrollment and strengthening the school in that regard. And Philippe is the chair, Philippe Mentor, who's here, he's the chair of that committee. They've been working very hard executing the advertising programs, social media, using social media to get the word out about Mizentop, pushing to get more bodies in for the open house, all of which is important because each new student that we get into a classroom not only provides the diversity in that classroom of a new personality and a new friend to make, but it also adds revenue to that classroom. And so the enrollment, of course, is the most important thing to focus on for us. And the #1 source of new students to the school is referrals from existing parents. So that puts it on us. And I'm not on the board. I'm not an executive. I'm here as a parent. It's on us to go out when we're on the soccer field, standing next to another parent with a kid the same age as ours, to just mention Mizentop. This is a great school. Let me tell you a little bit about it. Or looking for people who might be disenfranchised where they are and feel like, you know, their child's not getting what they need. Well, let me tell you about Mizentop because I love that school. So that's the part on enrollment that we can all participate in, and it doesn't cost us anything. As far as fundraisers go, we are taking a fresh look. This year I've taken over the heading of the gala from dear sweet Tina, who slaved over it for the last 2 years. And we've decided to change some things to make it more accessible and more affordable to everyone, so that it's not just about, you know, let's all come and have a big fancy dinner. This is about let's all come together as a community and participate in a fundraiser in the way that works for us. So there'll be two different tiers of tickets. You can buy a ticket for dinner, or you can come buy a ticket for a dance party that is less than half the cost. You'll still be a part of something really special and really fun. And it won't necessarily break the bank. Not everybody can afford for 2 parents to go out at $150 a seat. So look forward to the gala. It will be fun. It will be all-inclusive, and I promise you, we will be happy together. What's that?
Bring your friends.
And bring your friends. Yes, thank you, Lori. Don't forget to bring your friends. It's an 80s theme. If you grew up in the 80s, call your old high school friends and say, let's go dance. Right? We are, in addition to that, we're also launching some new fundraisers, some new initiatives, and this is what Peter was talking about, that are not just going to bring money into the school, but it's going to elevate our standing in the community. The first one, which is the most exciting, is the Ms. and Top Speaker Series. We will be bringing high-profile speakers to Ms. and Top, to this building, to speak to the community. Our first speaker is already scheduled. On March 3rd, we will be having a gentleman named Joe Micheletti come. If you are a hockey fan, you know who he is. He was a professional hockey player. He played on the U.S. hockey team. He is now the color commentator for the New York Rangers. He will fill the auditorium, I am certain, with people who will come to hear him speak. All of our speakers we're asking to talk about how they became successful in their careers while still incorporating any one of the living values into their lives. So it's relevant to the school. What this will do also is present an opportunity for people who don't go to school here or have children here to come see someone speak that is interesting to them. The hockey community is very large and very vast, and they will all pay money to come here. So here's a fundraiser that's not reliant on us parents to attend in order to bring benefit to the school. It'll also increase the value of our reputation in the community. Our goal with this speaker series is to become an institution that recognizes and supports the need for individuals at any age to fulfill their lifelong love of learning. It starts in pre-K here. We will continue until the day you retire and don't want to leave your house anymore with the things that we will offer. And fortunately, we have now this building that we can use to do all that. It doesn't cost us anything, but it will bring us the attention we need. Another additional fundraiser we're looking at, an American Girl Style Tea Party for young girls. Definitely looking for a chair to head that up. No pressure. But that will open our doors to young girls with their mothers, grandmothers, cousins, whoever, who can come in here, buy an inexpensive ticket, participate in something special, but then again, that's bodies in our door that are now recognizing Ms. and Top as a place where they can go. Maybe it'll be a place they'll want to send their child to school, and they have an opportunity to come and spend time with us. We're looking at corporate sponsorships for these events that will help increase the money coming in for all of those. So sorry, I'm going too long. So all of these are just a sample of, in the last month, we've come up with these ideas of new ways that we can bring money and attention to the school, increase our prestige. They're exciting. These are forward-looking projects that we hope to continue for a long time. But they're also, they're a lot. These are big undertakings for a small school with limited resources. I'll speak for myself, my fellow committee members, my husband, that we are ready to do the work. We are ready to roll up the sleeves and get to it. And here's why. Over the last few years, as things declined here, Colin and I felt a little disenfranchised. We actually stepped away from the school. We made a decision that, we'll let our kids go, but we need to step back because we don't feel like we're valued as parents. And I think that was a mistake that we made, but it was something that we decided. And there was a point where we were saying maybe we should look at another school. And this happened to be in June. We went to the graduation, and we sat there in the audience and we watched not one, not two, but student after student stand up and give a speech about their experience and about their lives that was so moving and powerful, and they spoke with poise and with dignity and with class and intelligence. And we knew, we looked at each other, we knew that was something that happened because they went to Ms. and Top. They went to this school. It starts in pre-K. It starts in 2nd grade when they're talking about their dinosaurs. And in 5th, 6th grade when they're in the school play. These children are being developed and cultivated in a way that is so remarkable. Mostly thank you to our teachers and our staff for doing that because they make it happen. We have 7 years here, and I see that my 5th and 6th graders are turning into these incredible young adults. I do not want my 1st grader to miss 1 ounce of that opportunity. So we will do whatever we have to do to make sure that it happens for him. So the success of the school is dependent upon us, and we're asking all of you to join us, to help us in whatever way you can, and not look back at our past mistakes or anyone who did anything wrong, but let's look forward at the future for our children, how wonderful this actually can be. We have such an opportunity to do something so much better than even what's been done in the past. And it's not about giving money. We talked about this. It's the, what did you call it? The human what?
Human endowment.
Human endowment. I call it helping out. We want your money. We want, even $10 to the annual fund. Of course we want that, but we want people to invest in themselves here. So if you're a florist, bring flowers, and if you're a web developer, ask Mike if you can help on the website, and if you're a mason, could you please fix our front steps? Please, we really do need that. Because we all have a part that we can play in this school. It belongs to us. This is our school for our children. Oh, I just made me cry, sorry. So it's time. It's time for us to get together and show this community what we can do and who we are. And I really hope that you'll all come and see me and ask me what we can do together. Thanks.
At this point, I just want to remind those of us who have children in MIST that we do have a little bit of time. At 8 o'clock, though, we will need to pick up our children. We'd like to open it up to questions at this point. Again, any questions, specific questions about the tuition, will stay after for that. And you have a microphone down at your table, Jamie and Eileen, if you'd like to use it. So if anyone would like to ask questions, anyone here? Yes, Linda.
Understanding that parents at school are one of the most valuable resources to increasing enrollment, and being somewhat of a relatively new parent with two children in first grade here, but also not being very familiar with the practices of how to encourage other families to come here other than from a personal level. Is there some kind of coaching or some kind of guidelines that maybe be introduced to the parents on when we see a potential person to pursue? What's the best way to get them to the next step other than giving them Janet's name that they call her?
That's,
Well, I think you're raising a very good point, because there is not a formal program to do that. And to talk about some of the problems we have not been able to find a head for the Parent Teachers Association for how long now? This year. So here's an example. That's the kind of thing that could fall under the auspices of the PTA. But we need help. So I don't think we have a good answer for you right now, but we want to provide an answer. And Parent Teachers Association would be very important on many levels, including that.
I do think, I would, Linda, definitely, or anyone who's interested, go see Janet and ask her. She could probably give you some pointers. We don't have a structural situation, but Janet, she's a wealth of information, and she's extremely supportive, so she could talk to you individually, but point taken.
Also, I would like to thank you personally, Linda, because I know you have done that. I've been in the village, and I've had young parents say to me that I mentioned what I do. I always mention the school's name and see what kind of reaction I get. And frequently they tell me, oh yes, Linda has spoken about the school. It sounds really neat, and I have a daughter, and so thank you. You're doing it.
I'm a big knowledge, you need to know how to have it.
It's all good. Other questions?
I don't have a question. I have a comment. I just as a teacher who's been here for so long, I would just like to say thank you to all of you who are up here tonight, and those who are not necessarily up here or up there, I should